What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 69. We're starting today's stuff on the back of our last minute winner in the last game in the last episode, but really tough run of form for Bayern Munich. Yep, 4 defeats in our last 6 games in all competitions. I said it in the last episode, this is not the Bayern Munich we've been seeing in real life, the 10-time in a row Bundesliga champions, the best team in Germany. No, these guys have lost their status as the best team in Germany. We were taking over a team that was old, we were taking over a team with no identity, and it's safe to say I haven't exactly done what I needed to do thus far. Well, case in point for our first game of today's episode. We've not only been knocked out of the DFB Pokal in the third round at home to Freiburg, meaning that one of the 2 trophies we've been asked to win has already gone before Christmas, but after back-to-back losses in the Champions League group stage, we're now potentially 90 minutes away from disaster. Yep, lose this game here at the Allianz, at home to Young Boys, and either one of Monaco or Celtic winning, we're going out. We are going out. Young Boys will be going through, and whoever wins the Monaco-Celtic game will join them in the round of 16. So it's safe to say I was incredibly nervous heading into this game after a terrible run of form. And 5 minutes in, disaster struck. Yep, Young Boys take the lead. And I was thinking, oh my god. Like, I wanted this challenge. I wanted it. I wanted the difficulty. I wanted the pressure. I wanted this sort of scenario. But, I mean, I also don't want to get a sack before Christmas. Having said that, that is definitely a possibility. If we were to go out of the Champions League at the group stage and be knocked out of the DFB Pokal in the third round, I mean, surely the ball would pull the plug, right? After all the money we spent, surely they would pull the plug. But it was such a frustrating half because, honestly, I'd been the better team, man. Like, I'd had the best chances, I'd had more opportunities, I just couldn't find the back of the net. One of those games where, you know, the AI goalkeeper is just on fire. You know, like, seriously, just one of those games. A couple of amazing saves, kept it at 1-0. As we were still looking for that leveller, and Cho Young-wook in this game was turning into prime Ronaldo, and I don't mean Cristiano, no, I mean R9, the Brazilian Ronaldo. He was bulldozing his way through my back line, constantly going through one-on-one, and had it not been for Lambert late on in the first half, we would have been 2 goals down heading into the break. At half-time, booed off at the Allianz, down by a goal, and as the second half began, I thought, just need a bit of luck. Please, game. I haven't had any luck to start this season off. Please, game. Give me something. Ask and you shall receive. 4 minutes after the restart, how often have I talked about high presses in this year's FIFA and how now they are a lot more effective, especially when you're taking on a weaker side at your backyard. Yep. Exactly what happened for our first goal of the second half. Yep, 4 minutes after the restart, putting that high press on, terrible pass across the edge of the area, Craft intercepts, quick little cut back, and we get the leveller. It is 1-1 and 63 minutes in. I should have been in front for the first time. Yep, Thomas Muller going through, easy save, really took the shot on way too early, adrenaline getting the better on me, if I'm being totally honest here, and from the corner, that header going just wide the post from Osimhen. So still tied at 1-1, but he goes the high presses that were really working in the second half. I was being a lot more intense. I was knowing what was at stake, and it was working. 65 minutes in, Osimhen wins it back. Tell off the bench, rolls it through, and cometh the hour, cometh the Muller. Thomas Muller, 36 years old, retiring at the end of the season. He stayed for 1 more year to help me settle in, and he's absolutely bailed me out in the final game of the group stage. And to be fair here, like, no less than I deserved. Yes, a little bit lucky for both of my goals, but no less than I deserved. I'd been the better team. My finishing was just letting me down. But 71 minutes in, we got the dagger. Tillman off the bench, rolled through, and drills it home for our third 2-goal cushion, and that would do it. We turn the game on its head in the second half and win it courtesy of a Thomas brace and 1 for Tillman as well. But again, the stats here, no doubt about it, definitely deserved the game. Yes, the first 2 goals, you could say a little bit lucky, but really definitely deserved to win on the grand scheme of things. So there we go. We are through, and we are going to be joined by Monaco. Yep, Monaco are coming through with us. Celtic going into the Europa League, and Young Boys finishing bottom of the group. But to be fair, you look at the runners-up, up, and there are some really, really tough teams we could possibly be facing. We can't have Leverkusen, we can't have Dortmund, but there are some very tough teams going through. I talk about it all the time, man. It's the Champions League. Yes, of course, topping the group does give you that luxury. You know, there's more of a chance, if you will, that you won't take on one of Europe's elite, but the Champions League is for Europe's elite, so like the chances are you're going to get a tough team. Like, very rarely do you go into the last 16 thinking, oh, that's an absolute banker, because it's the Champions League and it's the top two of a group. Like, you know, whoever goes through, okay, fair enough, normally the group winners are going to be one of Europe's absolute premier, gold standard, platinum standard elites, you know, your Real Madrids, for example, but runners-up are still going to be tough, and there are some really tough teams we could face there, I'm not going to lie. So, yeah, heading into the last 16, scraping through. I mean, I'll be honest here again, I should have won that game a lot more comfortably, but I say it all the time, man. Doesn't matter how you get it done, as long as you do. We've made it through, thankfully, and after a really, really tough run of form. I'm just wondering if now we are going to sort it out and finally start getting into good form that we haven't seen since the very start of this season. Yup, some players are coming back from injury. We're starting to look a little bit better when going forward, because we haven't scored that many goals to start the season off either. But for our following game, Augsburg away, if you watch my Bundesliga career mode last year, these guys were like the thorn in my side, and it's so funny because I talked about it last year in FIFA. You know, outside of the biggest of teams, you know, your Manchester Cities, your Real Madrids, etc., etc. I said last year the most difficult team I faced was Augsburg, and I know that sounds like I'm being jokey or I'm making a flippant remark. I'm not. I'm being genuine. Honestly, they were the hardest team I faced last year, outside of Europe's elite, if you will. But I won that game 2-0, clean sheet, couple of goals as well, and I was thinking, okay, alright, here we go. Let's keep Leipzig at bay and extend our winning run. Following game, back at the Allianz, Mainz in the Bundesliga. 2 games to go before the winter break and the halfway stage of the Bundesliga season. Leipzig still 2 points behind us, but keep them at bay going into Christmas, stay on top of the table, and we'll start to feel a little bit better with that winter break coming. Heading into the game, perfect start, 6 minutes in, Osimhen opening scoring, 11th goal of the season. It's amazing to think he's the top scorer in the Bundesliga, yet he's missed 2/3 of the game. Like, that's pretty incredible, isn't it? Like, he's the top scorer in the Bundesliga, yet he's only played 10 games. That's quite remarkable, really, when you think about it. But he opens the scoring, and then 9 minutes before the break, we are 2-0 up. Karim Adeyemi with our second. Be honest, I haven't really got as much out of Adeyemi and Musiala as I was hoping this year. The truth is, I haven't scored that many goals, a lot fewer than I was expecting with his high-powered offensive team. But Adeyemi, to me, I haven't got on with him as well as I was hoping. There's been a couple of games where he's done really well for me, but I've missed a lot of good chances with him, and for his finishing stat, that's quite a surprise. I know, again, we've moved him to the right-hand side, and he starts off as a striker, so it is technically a new position, but with that left foot and the stats he's got, I don't know, I guess I was kind of expecting a little bit more from Karim, but even so, he scored our second goal. We were leading by 2, and in 5 minutes after the restart here, Robin Gosens gets his first that's coming in on a free transfer to make it 3. He was unbelievable in this game, by the way. Proved there's life in those old bones. Yeah, so Gosens makes it 3, and that was how it'll finish. And I don't want to jinx things, I don't want to blow things for me, but I'm just starting to think maybe, when I look at the stats here, a total demolition job of Mainz. Maybe, just maybe, I've got it sorted. You know, fans saying sorted out, I'd like to think I'm beginning to sort it out now, because, I mean, you know, going out to Freiburg at home, into the FB Pokal, that to me was like the final straw. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'd had those back-to-back losses against Celtic at home and Monaco away. We got thumped by RB Leipzig at home. Look, I can excuse that. You know, midweek games in the Champions League with this Finn squad, with injuries as well, I can excuse those losses there. You know, those games, you know, knowing that we were possibly, you know, experiencing some complacency as well, being so far clear in the group. and even at Leipzig loss, I said when we started the season off, Leipzig I think will be our toughest challenger for the title this year. Even though Leverkusen won it last year, even though Dortmund, as we know, are a fantastic side, I still thought that Leipzig would be our toughest challenge for the title this year, and so far that's exactly how it's been. So I can even forgive that 4-2 loss, especially because of how the goals went in, but. That loss to Freiburg at home in the cup, that was that moment. Do you know what I mean? Everyone has these moments during the season where it's like, that ain't happening again. Like, that is not happening again. I am not allowing that to fester, and that is never happening again for the rest of the season. That was that moment there. And to be fair, I talk about this all the time. You guys know me. I'm like a sucker for mentality and psychological blows and what they can do to your confidence, but also what they can do for your resilience. Sometimes those. In fact, there's a great quote on the podcast I listen to very regularly. I talk about it all the time. It's called the High Performance Podcast with Jake Humphrey. I definitely recommend it for you guys. Great episodes, lots of footballers on there that you guys would enjoy listening to, and football managers as well. In fact, just very recently, Eddie Howe was on the podcast. Well worth a listen to that episode. Very interesting indeed. There's a saying that the professor on that podcast uses, which is that trauma can sometimes lead to triumph. And I really do believe that as well. Sometimes it's the ghosts of our childhood that still rattle around our adult bodies. I'd love to talk about this in a video of some of my own, and my biggest ghost, if you will, my biggest trauma that's led me to who I am now as an adult. Sometimes it's kind of that way in football as well. You have like a really, really damaging defeat during a season, and it just propels you to bigger things. And to me, that was that Freiburg game. As soon as I lost that Freiburg game, I was like, right, that's it. That is the final straw. That is not happening again. And since then, 5 straight wins in all competitions, progress through to the Champions League knockout stages and topping our group as well, and 4 straight wins in the Bundesliga as well. We wrap up December and the calendar year with a 4-0 win away at the Veltins Arena against Schalke, once again in complete control of the game. This is what I was hoping for with Bayern Munich. I know I wouldn't get it all the time. I knew that wasn't going to be the case joining this team, as it is a weaker side and no longer the dominant side that Bayern were in real life. But that is exactly what we need. Big wins like that to feel good once again. Halfway stage of the season, we enter the winter break. 17 games in, we are top of the table, but only 4 clear of Leipzig, 8 clear of Dortmund. It does look as though a 3-horse race is most likely, but for now, we do sit top of the tree. It's not been all that as difficult, obviously, but after 5 straight wins in all competitions, I'd like to think we've sorted it out. January window about to open, though, and I'm definitely thinking I might need to make 1 or 2 moves. But that will end today's episode of Career Mode, guys. Big thanks for watching. Hope you have enjoyed it. If you have, then please drop a like. Most of you all have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for next episode featuring the start of the January transfer window very soon.